And now, our feature presentation.
Welcome, every pony. This is Twilight Lost, Chapter 3, written by Granthal. The train arrived back to Ponyville just as night was falling upon it. I think I'll wait till the morning to check out the castle of the two sisters, she thought to herself. It would be better if I go home and get some rest after such an emotionally draining day. Twilight headed back to her own castle, which did feel a little empty now with Starlight and Spike both gone for another 2 days. As she returned to her castle, she was greeted by Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. The two of them had returned from their most recent mission from the cutie map. "Hey Twilight," the overly excited Pinkie said as they met up. "Hello Twilight," came Fluttershy's quiet voice. "Hello girls, how did things go?" Twilight inquired as they headed to the castle. "It went great. I think we're getting better at this," Pinkie responded to her question. "I have to agree. It was one of our easier ones," Fluttershy continued with a bit of a smile. "The hard part was finding it." "Yeah, but once we did, it all fell into place," Pinkie chimed in. "Well, I am glad to hear it, girls. Maybe we can talk more about it later." Twilight was exhausted from her day. "I just really need to get some rest tonight." "That's cool. I need to go and get things ready for Spike and Starlight for when they come back." Pinkie was planning a party for them to welcome them home. "And I should probably go check on my friends to make sure everything is okay," Fluttershy said calmly. The three of them reached the castle, said their goodbyes, and went off on their own. Twilight entered the castle and headed right for her room to try and call it an early night. The problem was, she knew she would not get much sleep, not with all that was going on in her mind. "I still want to know what it is I'm missing," she continued to think to herself. "My other side? Also, what will I find at the castle tomorrow?" She laid in bed and continued to think on things until she finally fell asleep, about 2 hours later. That night in her dream, she had a nightmare. The odd thing being that Princess Luna did not come and stop it. It played out. Within this nightmare, she saw a pony outline. Standing behind it was a dark outline of other ponies, with Candlelight Castle in flames and green eyes in the sky. Twilight awoke from her nightmare, startled and covered in sweat. "What in Celestia was that?" she shouted as she got up. "Maybe I needed to rest more than I thought." She went and got herself some water and headed back to bed. I'll have to remember the next time I see Luna to ask her about what happened in that dream. Finally able to get some sleep, she awoke the next morning, rested and ready to continue her quest to the truth. Well, tomorrow Starlight and Spike should be back. Maybe I can have something to show for this weekend when they do get back. She headed out on her way to the castle of the two sisters in the Everfree Forest. The forest was not as hard to navigate now, and due to that, Twilight had set up a renovation project for the castle. It was on hold for the weekend, so no pony was there. She was glad to see that it was about halfway done at this point. She entered the castle and headed right to the library to see if she could find the book she was looking for. She began to look around the library and seeing all the books she once read once before when she fought T-Rex. This brought back memories of her past, of the different fights she once had to face. She got to the back of the room. She noticed a new section that was opened up while the room was being worked on. "I don't remember this section before," she thought as she entered the area, wondering what she would find. The books had a smell, as if kept hidden for many years and never touched. She opened book after book, looking for information, each one giving her less information than the last. Most of what she found were books on changeling magic, secrets of dragons, legend of shadows. More and more she started to think this might be a wild griffin chase. Then she arrived at the last section. It was already starting to get late, but she thought one more wouldn't hurt. Then I will head back home. She found a book that caught her eyes. The Legend of the Other Side. Could this be the book I've been looking for? She thought to herself as she levitated it toward herself. She opened it up and the smell caught her off guard. The smell was that of a book that had not been touched in many moons. Okay, that was unexpected. Okay, let's check this out real quick. She took the book back into the main area and proceeded to read it in the lit area. This is the tale of my other side spell, she began. And noticed that due to how long the book has been there, some of the words had faded away. She got to a spell that was surprisingly well preserved compared to the rest of the book. If you wish to meet your other side, read this in front of a reflection to learn the truth. Twilight wanted to know what the spell did, so she looked around for a surface that she could use. Finding an old mirror, she recited the spell. The truth of magic is what I seek. May my other side bring me to my peak. As she began to read, a shadow began to fill the castle. Normally she would have noticed, but she was too engrossed into what she was reading. The side of me that I yet know will show a side that has yet to grow. Darkness began to fill the castle more and more, the shadows creeping down the halls. Show me the other side. Show me that which I hide, and release it from deep inside. As she finished the spell, she was surrounded by shadows that began to swirl around her. She tried as hard as she could to use her magic to push it back, but all she could do was dispel it, only for a moment. She could not escape the darkness that surrounded her. The dark shadows closed in and began to cover her body, and she disappeared with nothing more than a scream that echoed down the halls.